light.
I call Eugenie Sage.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The Green Party doesn't believe that this bill is part of a good solution to our housing affordability crisis, and it's not just the Green Party that's saying this. As the Hamilton City Council said in its submission, and I quote, "Housing affordability is a complex issue and it would be better for the government to develop a comprehensive, integrated and holistic affordable housing policy in collaboration with key stakeholders," end quote. And of course, local authorities are one of those key stakeholders. The Christchurch City Council is the largest provider of social housing in New Zealand after Housing New Zealand. But this bill undermines any sense of collaboration and partnership with those stakeholders because of the ministerial override provisions, and they allow the minister to cut across the statutory role of local authorities in deciding, in consultation with their communities, where new subdivision and residential development should occur and how it should occur. And if the minister can't agree with the council, then he can simply designate special housing areas and just establish those and have Moby take over the consenting role. And he can revoke those areas at will as well. So where these special housing areas are created outside metropolitan urban limits, and we had the minister talking about thousands of hectares of land being freed up, this will be a boon for property developers, because if the development is a qualifying development in terms of the criteria in clause 14 of the bill and in any regulations that the minister chooses to gazette, the developer can then apply to fast-track those developments. And that shuts out the community from decisions on where and how and when urban growth should occur, because under those fast-track provisions, it's only neighbouring landowners, the local council, requiring authorities and infrastructure providers that may be notified and may have an opportunity to put in submissions. So that's one of the reasons why the Green Party opposes the bill, because it cuts right across public participation and it also limits appeal rights. We're also opposing it because, unlike the rhetoric of the minister, it's not about simplifying and streamlining, because it's setting up a different decision-making process with different criteria to those which exist in the Resource Management Act. And we also oppose it because it erodes local democracy by the minister's override powers and his ability to establish these special housing areas. Because, again, the same as with the RMA changes, the government is talking about quick decisions rather than quality decisions. So we risk ad hoc, sporadic urban development and urban sprawl rather than the compact urban areas that we want for sustainable growth. And as the Local Government New Zealand said in its submission, and I quote, "The pendulum has swung too far in the direction of speed, away from community involvement and the robust assessment of environmental effects." So yes, we may get things happening quickly, but that does not mean that they're going to be sustainable over the long term. We also oppose the bill because it doesn't recognise the work that a lot of local authorities are doing to plan for growth. You've got the Wellington City Council, which has got a sound urban development strategy that has over 20 years of land supply through a mix of high-density infill developments, central city apartments and greenfields. So again, it is this government centralising power rather than trusting local authorities to work with their communities and have sensible growth. We believe in the Green Party that if we're going to deal with this affordable housing crisis, you need a package of measures. That includes a capital gains tax on everything except the family home. That will help deflate the property investment bubble. We want the government to recognise that because there has been a market failure, the government should be investing in building affordable homes. And as Matiria Ture said, that is an investment, because if you give people a warm, dry, safe, secure home, that is the basis for family stability, it's the basis for healthy families, for educational achievement and for good health. So that is an investment in our people and in our country, not a cost the way this government seems to think it is by relying largely on the market. And we want livable cities, compact cities where you've got land use planning integrated with public transport. This bill doesn't deliver that. It delivers sprawl and ghettos on the edges of our cities.
Speaker.
I call Mike Sabin.
Mr. Speaker, if we were living on Fantasy Island, that contribution from Eugenie Sage would have been absolutely